Welcome back. And now for a film that released a week ago, but since I'm a great big fan of Paul Giamatti, I thought I should talk about it, and also several of my friends wanted to know my opinion. So here's the review of Bani's version. Now, the leading man in the film, Bani Panofsky, is everything a leading man should not be. He's very far from handsome. He's balding but also very hairy and unkempt. So, he has a disgusting paunch from too much drinking, and he chain smokes cigars and watches too much hockey when he could be jogging to do something about that paunch. When the film opens, this anti-leading man, as I shall call him, who is a Jewish character from Montreal, is a producer at a company called Totally Unnecessary Productions, where they make appallingly bad and risque soaps. This man, Bani, is an aging television producer. He goes to a bar. There at the counter, he is confronted by an ex-cop who has written a revealing it all book about a particularly sordid chapter in Bani's past. That gets Bani walking down memory lane and reflecting on his life, its successes and failures, as it were.
That's for you. I even signed it. You screwed over everyone you ever knew or cared about. Now the whole world's gonna know what a murderer you really are. You could use a mint.
Bani has been married once and divorced. This is conveyed and not shown in the film. At his second wedding to the shrill character played excellently by Minnie Driver, he spies an ethereal beauty.
I'm Miriam.
Are you doing anything later? Because we could still catch a flight to Rome.
The bride may take issue with that.
A wedding guest, Miriam Grant, who makes such an impression on him that he goes to talk to her. That seals it all. It's love at first sight for Bani, who chases Miriam all the way to the train station to tell her that he's in love with her. Of course, Miriam thinks Bani's loony, but eventually Bani divorces the second Mrs. Panofsky and gets Miriam to marry him.
I'm divorced.
Is the ink even dry yet?
Let me check.
After all you've done to pursue me, how can I trust you?
I would do anything for you, Mary.
Don't answer anything. Life's real. It's made up of little things. Minutes, hours, naps, errands, routine, and it has to be enough.
Rosamund Pike is ethereal, as I described her earlier. She's really that. Slender, incandescently beautiful with a voice to match. She's also an angel compared to sloppy Bani, who, okay, to his credit, gets his act together in the initial years of their marriage and parenthood, but starts to unravel gradually as they both slip into middle age.
No, I think a little time apart would be good for both of us.
My mother and I are gonna work through this.
You're trying to fix it. You can't fix this like you do everything.
Miriam continues to age gracefully, and her patience with Bani is quite simply legendary, as Bani becomes increasingly insecure, is rude to her friends, does not support her need to have a career, starts to drink again and watch ice hockey in pubs. But Bani also loves Miriam deeply and can't bear being away from her. It's just that his center cannot hold, so finally by a thoughtless and stupid act, he drives Miriam away. In a nutshell, the film is about Bani's life, to state the obvious, but it's also a meditation on love, togetherness and companionship, and it's the telling of the story of a man's unremarkable life made beautiful by love, but ruined again by his stupidity, his irrational impulses. Bringing to mind our first film this week, Adjustment Bureau, which looks at how free will, if not channelized in the right direction, can cause our ruin. Bani's version could be called the story of every man or every woman as we go through life blundering and succeeding in turns, while all the time looking for that one love which we think will save us.
Have I ever given up when it comes to you?
Never.
So what makes you think I'm gonna start now?
Paul Giamatti once again proves what a fantastic actor he is. Give him anything. Comedy, romance, tragedy, and he excels in all effortlessly. Remember the indelible impression he made on us in Sideways, American Splendor and Cold Souls? In Barney's version, his portrayal of the younger alcoholic Barney has you going, who in her right mind would fall for this lout? And later, as the older Barney, he moves you to tears.
For the first time in my life, I am truly, seriously, irretrievably in love.
So am I, Barney. So am I.
Rosamund Pike, as I said earlier, is someone not of this earth. She is so lovely. This skilled cellist in real life and stage actress whose parents are concert musicians and opera singers carries herself with such enviable elegance. To quote Roger Ebert about the film, he says, as Miriam Grant, she is one of those women who seems unaware that everyone must constantly be asking, what does she see in him, in Barney Panofsky, that is. Ebert goes on to say, and here men, are you listening? Listen up carefully to this one. Ebert says that women persist in seeing things in us as men, we must be grateful. Well, remember that, okay? Dustin Hoffman is very good here as Izzy Panofsky, Barney's father, a retired Montreal cop with whom Barney shares a sweet bond.
The chicken is great.
It's fish.
Sorry.
Is your dad really a cop? Is he?
What's that? Your wedding present. I don't know what to say.
Hoffman, need I say, like always is in full form as the sharp-tongued but wise man who stands by his son, both bound also by their love for those vile cigars. Minnie Driver drives you up the wall as the second Mrs. Panofsky. Her character is like that. You know, there's this one scene that I can't talk about on television, it's too explicit. It's their wedding night and she says something that grosses you out. It has you going, oh my God, what a dampener.
Would you put that away, please? It's our honeymoon, not a travel junket.
I'm embarrassing you?
Yes.
Like with the bidet?
You didn't have to ask the concierge. I could have told you what it was for.
Do you have a master's degree?
No?
Am I embarrassed?
Based on the novel by Mordecai Richler, this is a bittersweet film that has you getting a bit philosophical about life. I shed a few tears, it got to me, it did. What I also liked was the way the director weaves in a murder mystery that resolves itself towards the end. I really do want to read the novel now, which someone compared to Saul Bellow's masterpiece, Herzog, which by coincidence or not, Miriam is reading on the train when Barney rushes there to tell her that he loves her. Apparently, Richler's novel is richer and far more complex than the film. It's already on my summer reading list. I highly recommend Barney's version with 4.5 stars. Here's my question for this week. Name another film starring Dustin Hoffman. Let me repeat that. Name another film starring Dustin Hoffman. The first one to write in to feedback@ndtv-hindu.com will get a Big Home video DVD. So do write in quickly. I'll see you next week. Until then, be well and bye. It's really pretty. We'll roll. Yeah. You close off the door. Rolling. Hello and welcome to the 100th episode of Cut. Richler's novel is richer and no, we can't do it again. The whole thing is bizarre. Stop acting attitudey with, yeah, okay. Hello and welcome to the 100th episode of The Big Pick.